When the supply chain breaks and grocery stores are either empty or unaffordable, the only people eating well will be the ones who planted the right crops 6 months earlier. Not the prettiest crops, not the most exotic. The 8 crops that grow fast, store long, produce heavy calories, and most importantly, give you seeds you can replant year after year without buying anything ever again. If you're watching this, you already know something's coming. So here's the deal, hit subscribe now, because by the time everyone else figures this out, seed companies will be sold out and you'll be starting from scratch while your neighbors are harvesting their 3rd crop from seeds they saved last season. These 8 crops work in growing zones 4 and 5, meaning most of North America, and they're chosen because they check every survival box. Easy to grow, calorie dense, preserve without electricity, and regenerate themselves. Let's start with number 8. Number 8, zucchini. The crop that won't quit. Zucchini is survival food disguised as a garden vegetable. One plant produces 30 to 50 pounds of food per season. It grows so aggressively that your problem won't be getting enough. It'll be what to do with the surplus. And that's exactly what you want when food scarcity hits. Here's the growing trick nobody tells beginners. Create a small mound of dirt, about 12 inches high, 3 feet wide. Plant your zucchini seeds in the top of that mound. Why? Drainage. Zucchini hates wet roots, and the mound keeps water flowing away from the stem, which prevents rot and disease. This one adjustment doubles your success rate. Now here's what most people get wrong about zucchini. They harvest way too early. Those tiny grocery store zucchinis, those medium-sized ones you see in gardens, they're babies. If you want seeds and long-term storage, you need to let them grow huge. We're talking the size of a man's arm or bigger. Pro tip, when you let zucchinis grow to full maturity, they don't get tough or woody inside like most people think. The flesh actually stays soft and flavorful. But more importantly, that's when the seeds inside fully develop, making them super easy to collect. It's also the only way to store zucchinis for 5 to 6 months without refrigeration. Just keep them whole, in a cool, dry spot. When you're ready, cut one open, scoop out the seeds, rinse off the pulp, and dry them on a paper towel for about a week. Once dry, store them in a paper envelope or jar, and those seeds will stay viable for up to 6 years. But here's the bonus most people miss. Those zucchini seeds you just saved, roast them with a little oil and salt, and you've got a nutrient-dense snack packed with magnesium, zinc, iron, and healthy fats. They're essentially free protein and minerals from a crop you're already growing. And here's the real survival advantage. Those massive, fully mature zucchinis can be stored at room temperature, as long as it's cool and dry, all the way through winter into May when it's time to replant. No refrigeration, no canning, no special preservation. Just keep 2 or 3 of your biggest zucchinis as seed keepers, and you've got next year's crop secured plus months of stored food. Why it's on the list. It grows in 60 days, tolerates neglect, produces absurd amounts of food, stores through winter without electricity, and gives you unlimited replanting potential with almost 0 effort. When you need calories fast and long-term seed security, zucchini is your insurance policy. But the next crop isn't about speed. It's about lasting through winter when nothing else will. Number 7. Spaghetti squash. The crop that stores like a bunker. While zucchini feeds you in summer and stores into spring, spaghetti squash is purpose-built for winter survival. One plant produces 5 to 8 squash, and each squash weighs 3 to 5 pounds. But here's why it matters for survival. Stored properly, cool, dry, dark, spaghetti squash lasts 6 to 8 months without refrigeration, canning, or any preservation method. You harvest in September and eat fresh food in March. Growing it is nearly identical to zucchini. Use that mound method for drainage. Now here's what most people get wrong. They think spaghetti squash needs massive ground space because it's a vining plant. But here's the secret. Spaghetti squash are excellent climbers and surprisingly strong. They'll climb a trellis, fence, or even a simple A-frame structure, and they can hold their own weight as they mature. Train them vertically, and suddenly you're growing 8 squash in 2 square feet of ground space instead of a 6-foot sprawl. The eating part is where it gets practical. Cut it in half, roast it, scrape out the flesh with a fork, and you've got pasta-like strands that absorb flavor. It's a base food. You can mix it with anything. Beans, meat, sauce, oil. It's bland on purpose, which makes it versatile. Now here's the seed-saving advantage. One spaghetti squash produces so many seeds that you're set for next season from a single squash. Scoop them out, rinse off the pulp, dry them for a week, and store them. Those seeds last 5 years and cost you nothing, but don't waste the rest. Roast those seeds with seasoning, and you've got a nutrient powerhouse. High in omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, zinc, and iron. They're basically free multivitamins growing inside food you're already storing. Why it's on the list, it bridges the hunger gap. When fresh food is gone and you're rationing canned goods, you're pulling spaghetti squash from storage and eating like it's still harvest season. Plus, vertical growing means small spaces work just fine. And the next crop solves the calorie problem everyone underestimates, because vegetables fill you up, but they don't fuel you. Number 6, potatoes. The calorie king. Potatoes are the reason societies survived winters. 1 pound of potatoes gives you 350 calories and enough carbohydrates to fuel a full day of physical labor. They grow in almost any soil, tolerate cold, and store for months in a cool basement. This is the crop that keeps you alive when everything else is supplemental. But here's the problem. Potatoes take space. A traditional potato bed needs 4 feet by 8 feet to produce maybe 40 pounds of potatoes. That's fine if you have acreage. If you're working with a small backyard or urban lot, you need potato towers. Here's how you build one. Take a 4-foot section of chicken wire and form it into a cylinder about 3 feet wide. Stake it to the ground so it doesn't collapse. Fill the bottom 6 inches with soil mixed with straw or compost. Plant 4 to 6 seed potatoes on top of that layer. As the plants grow and reach about 8 inches tall, add another 6 inches of soil straw mix, burying the lower leaves but leaving the top growth exposed. Keep doing this as the plant grows, layering soil every time it gets tall, until your tower is 3 to 4 feet high. The result? Depending on tower height and variety, you can harvest 80 to 150 potatoes from a single 3-foot tower. And chicken wire is reusable. Same tower year after year. Seed saving is effortless. Just save a few small potatoes from your harvest. Store them cool and dark. In spring, plant them. Each potato eye becomes a new plant. Why it's on the list? Potatoes are survival math. Calories per square foot, potatoes win. When you need energy to work, to stay warm, to function, you need carbs. Potatoes deliver. But carbs alone aren't enough. You need protein, and the next crop is the only one on this list that gives it to you. Number 5, beans. The protein you can't live without. You can survive on potatoes and squash for a while, but eventually your body starts breaking down without protein. Beans solve that. Dry beans are 15 to 20% protein by weight, they store for years, and they grow vertically, meaning you can produce massive amounts in minimal space. Here's the key. Plant climbing varieties, not bush beans. Bush beans are fine for fresh eating, but climbing beans, like pole beans or runner beans, grow up a trellis, fence, or even a teepee structure made from branches. One 6-foot trellis can produce 20 pounds of dry beans in a season, and it only takes up 2 feet of ground space. Growing them is simple. Plant seeds along the base of your trellis after the last frost. They'll climb on their own, water moderately. Harvest when the pods are dry and brittle. That's when the beans inside are fully mature. Shell them out, store them in sealed containers, and you've got protein for years. Seed saving? You're already doing it. The beans you eat are the seeds you plant. Just keep back a couple handfuls from your harvest for next season. Beans stay viable for 3 years if stored cool and dry. Why it's on the list? Protein is non-negotiable for survival. Your body needs it to repair, to build muscle, to maintain immunity. Beans give you that without hunting, without livestock, without anything except dirt and a trellis. And the next crop is one most people overlook, because it seems too simple, but it might be the smartest thing you plant. Number 4, winter squash, specifically butternut or acorn squash. This is the nutritional powerhouse nobody appreciates until food options shrink. Winter squash is calorie-dense, vitamin-rich, especially vitamin A, which matters when your diet becomes limited, and stores for 4 to 6 months without any processing. It's the bridge between fresh harvest and deep winter, and it complements everything else on this list. Growing it is nearly identical to spaghetti squash, mound planting for drainage, full sun. And just like spaghetti squash, winter squash varieties are natural climbers. Train them up a trellis or fence, and they'll hold their own weight as they mature. You don't need sprawling ground space. Grow them vertically and save your garden real estate for other crops. One plant produces 4 to 6 squash. Each squash weighs 2 to 4 pounds and delivers around 200 calories per pound plus fiber, potassium, and immune-supporting vitamins. Here's why it matters for survival. When you're eating mostly potatoes and beans, you need micronutrients to avoid deficiency diseases. Winter squash fills that gap. It's also versatile. Roast it, mash it, turn it into soup, bake it into bread. It's sweet enough to satisfy cravings for variety without needing sugar. Seed saving is the same as other squash. Let one mature fully, scoop seeds, dry, store. And don't throw those seeds away. Roast them for a snack loaded with magnesium, potassium, and healthy fats. One squash gives you months of storage food, plus next year's seeds, plus a protein-rich snack. That's 3 survival resources from one crop. Why it's on the list? Calories plus vitamins. Most survival crops lean heavy on carbs or protein but lack nutrients. Winter squash covers what the others miss, and it does it while storing through the coldest months without electricity and growing vertically to save space. But the next crop is where things get interesting, because it's one everyone knows, but most people are growing it completely wrong for survival. Number 3. Tomatoes. The garden staple that's actually a survival crop when you do it right. Most people grow tomatoes for fresh eating and maybe some canning, but tomatoes are a calorie source, a vitamin powerhouse, and one of the easiest crops to save seeds from, if you know what you're doing. Here's what matters for survival. Grow paste or Roma varieties, not slicers. Paste tomatoes like San Marzano or Amish paste are meatier, less watery, and better for preservation. One plant produces 20 to 40 pounds of tomatoes in a season. You can eat them fresh, but the real value is drying them, turning them into sauce, or fermenting them for storage. Growing them requires support, cages or stakes, and consistent watering to prevent blossom end rot and cracking, but they're forgiving. Plant after last frost, give them full sun, and they'll produce for months. Seed saving is absurdly simple. Pick a perfectly ripe tomato from a healthy plant. Squeeze the seeds and gel into a jar with a little water. Let it ferment for 2 to 3 days until a layer of mold forms on top. That's breaking down the germination-inhibiting gel. Rinse the seeds, dry them on a paper towel, store them. Tomato seeds last 4 to 6 years. Why it's on the list? Tomatoes give you vitamin C, lycopene, and acidity, which matters when your diet becomes grain and starch heavy. They're also one of the few crops that can be preserved multiple ways: dried, sauced, canned, or frozen. And seed saving takes 5 minutes. The next crop is controversial, but if you ignore it, you're leaving serious food security on the table. Number 2, sunflowers. Not the decorative ones, oilseed sunflowers bred for food production. Most people think of sunflowers as ornamental, but oilseed varieties produce massive seed heads packed with calories, protein, and fat. 3 things you desperately need when food systems fail. 1 seed head can yield a pound of seeds. 1 pound of sunflower seeds delivers 2,600 calories and 40 grams of protein. That's nearly a full day's nutrition from one plant. Growing them is simple. Full sun, decent soil, space them 12 inches apart. They grow 6 to 8 feet tall in 90 days. Harvest when the back of the flower head turns brown and seeds are plump. Cut the head, hang it to dry, then thresh out seeds by rubbing the head or hitting it against a bucket. Here's the survival angle. Sunflower seeds are calorie-dense, store for a year in shells, and provide fat, which is rare in survival gardens. Fat is essential for calorie absorption, hormone production, and sustained energy. Most garden crops are low-fat. Sunflowers fix that. Seed saving is automatic. The seeds you eat are the seeds you plant. Just keep back a handful for next season. Why it's on the list: caloric density. When you're doing physical labor all day and food is limited, you need fat and protein. Sunflowers deliver both in a package that grows easily and stores simply. And now number 1, the crop that ties this whole system together because it feeds you and regenerates your soil at the same time. Number 1, peas. The crop that improves your garden while feeding you. Peas are a nitrogen-fixing legume, which means they pull nitrogen from the air and deposit it in the soil through their roots. Translation: peas make your soil better for the next crop. In a survival garden where you can't rely on fertilizer supply chains, that's critical. But beyond soil health, peas are fast, productive, and versatile. Shelling peas give you dry protein similar to beans. Snap peas give you fresh eating in 60 days. Both climb, so they're space efficient. One 6-foot trellis produces 5 to 10 pounds of peas per season. Growing them is cold friendly. Plant as soon as soil can be worked in spring. They tolerate frost. They'll produce before anything else is ready. Harvest shelling peas when pods are plump and dry. Harvest snap peas when pods are crisp and full. Seed saving is simple. Let some pods mature fully on the vine until they're dry and brown. Shell them out, store the dried peas, plant them next spring. Pea seeds last 3 years. Why it's on the list: peas feed you and your soil. They're one of the few crops that give back more than they take. In a long-term survival scenario where soil fertility becomes a limiting factor, peas keep your garden productive year after year. 8 crops. That's it. You don't need 20 varieties or some complex permaculture system. You need plants that produce heavy calories, preserve without technology, and regenerate themselves from saved seeds. Now here's what didn't make the list: corn. Corn grows easily, stores well, and seeds are simple to save. But corn is a space hog. One stalk produces 1 or 2 ears. To get meaningful calories, you'd need 100 stalks, which means a massive plot. If you've got acreage, grow corn. If you're working with a small backyard or urban lot, corn doesn't make the cut. These 8 crops beat it on space efficiency. Here's your reality check. The time to plant is before you need to. Seeds are cheap now. Knowledge is free. But when everyone realizes grocery stores aren't reliable, seed companies will be back-ordered for months, and you'll be starting from zero, while people who planted last season are already eating. What crop would you add to your survival garden? And if you're serious about food security, hit subscribe, because this channel is about preparing smart, not panicking late.